Welcome back to movementprofessional.com. This week's movement of the week is the kettlebell deadlift. This is simply a progression of the wall hip hinging that we did in week 1. And it's just basically taking that motion against the wall and adding a little bit of resistance to it. So I like starting with the kettlebell because there's a handle and you can easily straddle the kettlebell. So it's right underneath your body, therefore decreasing the amount of resistance by decreasing the distance that you have to reach for the bell. So it's pretty simple to progress with this. You just go from light to heavy and just make sure that you're prioritizing technique. So take a look at the video and comment on my webpage, Facebook, etc. We're here at Pain Relief and Physical Therapy. We're going over the kettlebell deadlift. That's a good way to start the process of starting to do a deadlift or lift weight from the ground up to waist level. So you're going to start with the bell between your heels. Alright, so it's basically going to be right at that area between the heels, and that makes you have to reach back for it so you can get some tension in your hamstrings. Alright, so when you go down into your hip hinge here, you want to make sure you have a straight line from head to hip, and then you want to also have a vertical shin, relatively vertical, so your knee doesn't travel forward past your toe. You want to feel like you're loading your hamstrings. Alright, so you're getting a nice stretch right back there. Alright, your hips are going to be higher than your knees and slightly lower than your shoulders. Slightly. Okay. And from there, you just grip the kettlebell. When you grip the kettlebell, you want to try to break the handle. Alright, so from this angle it's kind of hard to see, but you're trying to think about screwing your shoulders into the socket, and that just helps to, here's your arm bone right in there. You want to think about getting the ball of the humerus kind of up into the socket there, and that you can do that by trying to turn your thumbs forward towards the front of the room or towards the head as you're gripping the kettlebell. Alright, and then you're basically just going to stand up, drive your heels or the outer edge of your feet down through the ground. Before even getting started in the deadlift or before any lifting is done, you want to make sure that you're feeling like your feet are in such a way on the ground where the outer edge of the foot is touching the ground, the big toe is touching the ground, but the inside arch is lifted. Alright, you don't want to bear weight through the outer arch. In this way, your knees are already going to be out, your hips are going to be slightly externally rotated or abducted and open, depending on if you're in the bottom position or the top position. So if I get to the top here, I should be tight in the buttock, tight in the belly. Alright, nice straight line from ear down to ankle bone. And the bell should be being pulled into the body, so don't let it just hang there, it should be pulled into the body. The feet are going to continue to have that arch lift, so you're going to have most of your pressure on the outer edge of the feet, but that big toe is curling into the ground and keeping you grounded. Alright, so we'll go through that a little bit faster. Alright, so the knees are going to stay out just because you have those feet in that good position. So if you look at it from the front, it's the same movement each time, the same hip hinge. The only place you're really moving from is the crease of the hip right in there. Alright, and that's the kettlebell deadlift. That's a fundamental movement for function, also strength training, but also for any type of power training. You need to be able to load that hip hinge in order to jump, in order to prepare yourself for any type of agile movement. Without the kettlebell deadlift down, you shouldn't be looking at doing kettlebell swings or anything at higher velocity. So this should be a fundamental movement to train. That's the kettlebell deadlift.